summer heat is broken. The leaves are changing colors. That can only mean one thing. It's Halloween. And as night falls earlier and earlier with each passing day, there's no better excuse to curl up in front of a screen and play some spooky video games. And if you spent all your money on costumes and candy this year, I've got a selection of 5 chillingly cheap PC games to play on this October 31st. Some are mods of games you may already own. Others are standalone releases that are entirely free to play. Be sure to keep an eye out for the Spookometer to see just how terrifying each game will be. So turn off the lights, put on your most comfortable pair of headphones, and get ready to have your pants scared off. Most people know the work of SCA Studios for their Xbox Live Arcade releases, like Dead Samurai, Vampire Smile, and the forthcoming Charlie Murder. In actuality, these guys have been making games for years, and one of my favorites will always be Survival Crisis Z. The closest relative to SCZ would be a loot-based RPG, but don't come in expecting the next Diablo or Torchlight. This game is about managing fatigue, betraying factions, dealing with infected party members, and scavenging underground laboratories. What it lacks in visual fidelity, it more than makes up for in massive replay value, with randomly generated cities, tons of secrets, and a wealth of unlockable modes. It's a genuine shame that they never developed a sequel to this game. If you ask me, the future of games is in non-linear experiences, like Minecraft and DayZ, where you're placed into a huge world and the only objectives are the ones you make for yourself. In that regard, Survival Crisis Z feels a little ahead of its time. If you can look past some simplistic character art and figure out how to set up your controls properly, Survival Crisis Z will provide you with near-endless hours of enjoyment. Just be aware that it might have trouble running on newer versions of Windows. I don't think there was ever a time when anybody thought Unreal Tournament 2004 was a visually impressive game. That's not to say it was ugly, but by the time of its release, we were already knee-deep in shader-intensive games like Half-Life 2 and Doom 3, making UT 2004's flat texture work look, well, flat. But that hasn't stopped Long Nguyen's Out of Hell from utilizing the engine's strengths to build something that looks amazing. 7 years were spent creating Out of Hell, and it shows. Every inch of every map is overflowing with detail. The end result is a dense, claustrophobic atmosphere full of broken glass, burning cars, and dead leaves. It's actually sort of mind-blowing to think that this is the work of all one single person. But that actually ends up working against the game in a couple of places. The intense clutter can mean that it's not always clear where you're supposed to go next, and some of the animation looks kinda stiff and awkward. The most unfortunate result of this game's one-man army development cycle is the fact that it contains a lot of dialogue but no voice acting. But it's that undeniable atmosphere that makes Out of Hell what it is. There is simply nothing else I've seen with environments that look quite like this, and that goes a long way to make up for any other shortcomings the game has. might hold the record for the most ported game ever. Since its 1993 release, Doom and Doom 2 have been seemingly ported to every platform you can think of, and chances are you own at least 3 devices that can be theoretically playing Doom right now. But what you might not be able to play is Doom 64, a game released exclusively for the Nintendo 64 by Midway back in 1997. This isn't another port of an existing Doom, but a brand new game. Despite some other game, this is more like the real Doom 3, with the same classic gameplay you remember, but with an added layer of creepy atmosphere. It's not quite Dead Space, but skulking around the game's dimly lit Martian laboratories can be pretty spooky. Doom 64 has never resurfaced on any other platform since then, not even Nintendo's own Virtual Console. But don't start browsing eBay just yet, as there are ways to play Doom 64 on your PC with a mouse and keyboard. You have your choice between Doom 64 Absolution and Doom 64 EX, and both have appreciable strengths and weaknesses. What this boils down to is that Absolution is a slightly imperfect recreation of Doom 64 that only requires you to own a copy of Doom 2 in order to play it, whereas the EX release is a 1-to-1 accurate port of Doom 64 that requires the original Nintendo 64 cartridge ROM. I'll let you decide which you're more comfortable with, but either version is definitely worth playing.
When there's no more room ahead.
Is Left 4 Dead not realistic enough? Are you tired of dealing with raiders and DayZ? Have you ever wanted to kill zombies as Walter Sobchak from The Big Lebowski? If you answered yes to any of those 3 questions, then No More Room in Hell might be the game for you. Originally announced in 2004 as what might have been Half-Life 2's first multiplayer mod ever, No More Room in Hell has had a rocky development cycle that saw the project being all but abandoned after the release of the first Left 4 Dead. After changing project leads, it resurfaced as a game that encourages tight team coordination, because a single bite or scratch is all it takes to become infected. This is most definitely a game best played with a group of friends, because without adequate communication and teamwork, you're probably going to die within seconds of stepping out of the safe zone. No More Room in Hell is a difficult, unforgiving mistress that requires patience and strategy to even have a chance at finishing one of its objectives. And for those of you out there who just want to mow down zombies, there's a wave-based survival mode too. Make sure you check it out. It is rare that I find a game legitimately frightening. Creepy? Sure. But I have played a number of games that are supposedly the scariest game ever. And I have often come away bored, frustrated, or more often than not, just disappointed. Team Syscalar must be doing something right then, because Cry of Fear is so legitimately terrifying that I find I cannot play the game for long stretches. which is a shame because Cry of Fear might be their best game ever. It's up there with professional releases like Amnesia, and it really pushes the old Half-Life engine far beyond its boundaries to enable advanced graphics shaders, a unique inventory system, and complex interactive puzzles. It's backed by a disturbing storyline that really makes you question the nature of hallucinations, and whether or not our character is currently trapped within one. If you're looking for something to play that will give you nightmares, Cry of Fear might just do the trick. It just wouldn't be a feature on Spooky Games without mentioning this elephant in the room. I never personally really got into the whole Slender Man phenomenon. For every creepy moment in a web series like Marble Hornets and Everyman Hybrid, there were 10 that had me rolling my eyes. But when you really get down to it, a tall, faceless man is not the scary part about Slender. What the game represents is the purest form of fear, knowing that something is out to get you and there is nothing you can do about it. For many, there is nothing more frightening than knowing that you're about to die, and the longer you play Slender, the closer to death you become. Ultimately, Slender Man himself does not really matter. It's about an environment that feeds paranoia. Stranded alone in the dark old woods, your eyes and mind begin to play tricks on you. Every snapped twig and errant branch caught in the beam of your flashlight could be a potential killer coming to end your life. As is often the case in even our most basic fears, one's own imagination is often your worst enemy. In spite of what is quickly becoming a tired internet meme, that is the key to Slender's success. If you're open to being scared and haven't seen Slender yet, you owe it to yourself to download it right now. And that's our show for today. Obviously, there's a lot more out there than what we just listed here today, but I hope you found something to sate your appetite this October 31st. See you guys next year, and Happy Halloween! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video review. If you like it, you can check out more of the stuff I do at the website addresses below. I'm a creative guy, so you'll probably find something to enjoy. If you just want to see more video reviews, be sure to check out my blip.tv channel. And hey, maybe you're feeling generous enough to watch those video reviews with ad blocking software turned off. If not, that's cool. I'd probably block those ads too. Thanks for watching, tell your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.